Today on The Real Fan Review, we talk about Spider-Man coming back to the MCU, violence in movies, and the movies that are upcoming for October. Welcome to The Real Fan Review. What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today I got the four with us. The Fantastic Four is back. We got my brother B here today.
I'm engaged.
Well,
Congratulations.
Congrats, brother.
Dinks.
We got my boy Sanj with us.
Everyone, as always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
And we got the man in the chair back. We got Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Awesome, man. It's great to have you guys back. It's good to have the four together.
Woo-hoo. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. But it's all good, man. We always make it happen when we do get together. And me and Sanj held it down last week.
Yes, we did. That was pretty deep.
Yeah, man. We did get deep, man. And I wanted to also see what you guys thought, because we never got a chance to ask you guys about this. But with with Magneto and Professor Xavier, there's this thing that's going on online, like a rumor going on, stating that they're trying to change it to people of color, Magneto and Professor X. Did you guys have like any takes on that on yourselves, or
honestly, I couldn't care less as long as they have the same relationship that they're supposed to have.
Right.
Then I can care less.
I gotcha.
I mean, the name and the power is all that they need to have.
Yeah.
And as long as they have that relationship that Professor X and Magneto have in the comic books, that it's that rivalry, but the acceptance at the same time.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think when we talked about it last week, me and Sanj kind of came up with the same kind of thought process. Was we were cool with Professor X being changed, no problem whatsoever. But I think we agreed on Magneto not being changed.
Because of his background.
Right, because it's a part of who he is.
It's
It's his personality. It's a part of everything that makes Magneto what Magneto is.
I agree on that.
But how about you, Al?
Depending on the time frame that they set it in,
Right.
I agree with what you guys were saying. But if they want to make it modern and they set it as though it's happening now, I think both can be changed.
Well,
you can change the stimulus for Magneto.
Right.
Because based on when they had him originate, his stimulus for bringing his power out was that event at the camp
At Auschwitz.
Yeah, but if you make it modern, then it could be you can change the race, you can make him a person of color and just change the stimulus. It could be something happening in an inner street.
My
it
thing
could
is
be anything.
You can change the origin story for Magneto, and I can say that you can still have a traumatic event and keep him as a Jewish person and have a
No, I
traumatic
agree,
because anti-Semitism is still
No,
very,
but
very
but
prevalent.
what held it to have to be Jewish was the fact that his storyline had his power drawn out by the event in the camp. If you make it modern, he'd have to be the only mutant in the movie now who's much older. Because
I'm saying you could modernize the story to where there's a traumatic event at, like, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
This is how I could rewrite Magneto. And this happened recently. There was a shooting at a synagogue where it becomes sort of like very much like a Bruce Wayne type story where a shooter comes in or something like that at a synagogue, and his parents get killed, and the way he realizes his power is that the bullet's coming at him, and he puts his hand up just like anybody would, and it stops the bullet.
No,
and
but that goes.
And
to
it keeps him Jewish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's if you want to stay back. That's why I say, to me, if they're making it modern, it could be anybody, because it could now be a person of color whose power came out at a shooting at a church down south.
I'm saying with Magneto,
right.
so because Magneto's always been a Jewish character, I would like to see him stay a Jewish character.
But I mean, Scarlet Witch in the MCU iteration of her, she's from Sokovia, which she wasn't before.
Yeah, but with her ethnicity and where she was from was never tied directly to her identity.
But technically, Magneto will be her father, so we're gonna change that up in this essential movie universe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because he's supposed to be her father.
He's supposed to be her father.
Yeah.
So now that we're gonna have this mutant, this character who isn't that relation anymore, he could very well have a different background, different origin. I would agree that I think Magneto should have that same backstory. I know it's kind of a stretch him being the first mutant or one of the first mutants and not have that come out anytime soon, but I would prefer they keep it that way just because it was so meaningful for his character, but I wouldn't mind if they changed it as long as it works.
Well, because there are, to me, so I'm going to throw it. What if they change the Black Panther?
Nah, that's different. They can't do that.
It's not different, though.
Well, no,
I believe that's completely different because it's integral to who he is.
But I think
so is Magneto.
But I think we're changing the context. The reason why they're able to consider even recasting them as persons of colors is because now they're bringing them into the MCU.
Right, they're bringing them to
and they're having to explain why they weren't present previously. So that's why if you're making it a modern story, you can give them any backstory. But to me,
the representation matters, and there's no other characters that actively represent Jewish people.
Right. Now, a little debate. Outside of his origin, have you ever seen him in the comics refer back to his religious standpoint?
It's not a religious standpoint. So being Jewish can be something that's religious as far as the Jewish religion, but Jewish people also that aren't very religious identify as Jewish people as an ethnicity as well. So it's not just a religious thing. It is an ethnicity as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we'll see what they do with it because, I mean, we do got some time. I think they're not going to put the X-Men or these people, the mutants.
Couple years.
Yeah, maybe.
I think till phase 5 even.
Yeah, because, I mean, we didn't see. I heard they're going to sprinkle in little stories here and there within the Disney Plus shows, plus the movies that are coming out. We'll see what they do. I mean, if anything, we could always count on Marvel to do something. Yeah. And let's give them the benefit of the doubt because everything they've done so far has been great, including... Segue. Perfect segue. Is Spider-Man's back.
I don't want to say I told you so.
I mean, we all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. We did not know it was going to happen.
We knew it was going to happen.
I distinctly recall one person saying that, this is going to happen and this is how it's going to happen and it's not going to take that long for it to happen. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
It was Al. No.
It could have been Al. I mean, if we're changing origin stories and stuff like that.
I'm just saying. I'm just going to say I looked it up to make sure I had the numbers right. So Home Alone, Spider-Man Far From Home alone made $1.1 billion.
Right.
There's no way Sony was going to take the chance, especially with the backlash that came out when the news broke out.
Oh my
goodness. That they were going to try to reject all those fans and say, "Oh yeah, we can do."
It's one thing. It's one thing when they had Spider-Man before, and they're the only ones that had Spider-Man. We were going to see the Spider-Man movies because that's the only outlet. This is the only way to see Spider-Man. But now, when you see a Spider-Man that's done right and it works well and it's in the MCU and everything, to take that away from us, I think they would have got back, and I don't think the movies would have made the money. I mean, us four right here would have went and saw the movies, of course, because we're going to talk about it. But I think a lot of people would not have gone to the theater to see the movie. I think
look, you have no further but Han Solo, the movie. Everybody got pissed off because of Last Jedi, how bad Rian Johnson did the movie.
Right. There
was a backlash protest. They wanted to boycott Disney and
they wanted to take the movie out the freaking the
canon.
They wanted to reshoot the whole movie. Yeah. So now what happens? Han Solo comes out, and it's one of the worst performing movies in the franchise.
But actually, it was a decent movie. Like I saw it was decent. Like I'm like, why was it getting panned so hard?
Because a lot of it was the rejection of the direction they were taking the main movies. And I agree. I held off until it was on Netflix because I was like, they're not getting my money. Because I'm one of those. I like. And I think I've said it on the show. I like Last Jedi as a movie. I hated what they did in terms of the story.
Yeah, man.
Like they did the way they shot it, the film it, the story. Like if that was a standalone and you never heard of Star Wars, it would have been a good movie. Yeah. But the direction that they took the story, I couldn't stand it.
I hear you, man. Now, Al, man, do you by any chance happen to know like what the actual deal is for Spider-Man? Like what did they agree on, or what was it that they actually just settled on?
Well, what I'm hearing, the only thing that I was able to find where they're specifying what the percentage is that they've agreed for Disney to co-finance at 25%, allowing them to take 25% of the profits.
Okay, all right. So, but how many movies? Is it like Spider-Man?
Well, I've heard Spider-Man 3 definitely.
Awesome. Okay.
And then one more, like an ensemble movie, like an Avengers type movie. But Sony now in their movies gets to refer to events and characters from the Marvel movies.
Oh wow.
Not
That's
overwhelmingly,
big.
but they can they can now
They can
So,
now
so basically, now Sony can tie their universe to the MCU.
yeah.
They're gonna fuck it up.
They're gonna start writing their own stuff.
do it. They're gonna mess it up.
You know what? So I mean, look, we're these United States of America. Let's be real. I'm not going to call out any states, but some states are better than others, right? Some states are better than others, but we're still the United States, right? So the MCU, right, will still be awesome. We'll have some shitty states, but it'll still be the MCU, and it'll
You
still
know what?
be awesome.
Not for
right?
nothing, man. Venom did a good job of telling the story
Without
mentioning anything, but at the same time, they almost kind of left it open where you don't know if it's not part of the universe. They just didn't mention anything.
because it was in California.
Yeah, so you could kind of write it off to being like, well, they weren't there.
They
you
weren't
know?
in New York.
Right, so it's just like they could kind of work it into the story, but I just hope they do it right, man. Because when Spider-Man first came into the MCU, they already botched the timeline right in the opening scene, so it was just crazy. But I mean, listen, what's your Brandon, man? What do you think, man? Spider-Man back?
I mean, I'm happy he's back. I hope they renegotiate after these movies are done, our Marvel Universe movies, to get him in more, because I can't see them trying to write him out after setting him up.
So you think this is just like a short-term deal to work on the bigger deal?
That's what my hope is, because
Yeah.
like if you're telling me we're definitely gonna get Spider-Man 3 because we have to, and then an ensemble movie, and then maybe a joint movie or him somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, that's 3 movies left for this guy who you just created a story arc for.
Right.
So if you're telling me you're gonna end this story arc within these 3 movies, I think you're gonna give me some more. I
don't know,
want
man.
some more. I want at least another movie to just maybe make him a mentor, make him not as important as they're trying to make him sound.
I got you. I think the negative side of me is taking over, though. I think this is the last of it. I think they're trying to say, you get these 2, get over it. That's it.
So I gotta ask y'all,
Yeah, go
how
for
much
it.
Spider-Man? How much more Spider-Man in the MCU do y'all want to see?
I mean, I got a lot of villains I want to see.
Yeah, I still want to see Craven. I still want to see the
I want to
version-
see the whole like Sinister Six.
But I feel like
Hobgoblin.
I feel like we're trying to expand the MCU and go different places and see different things. That if they focused on Spider-Man or went into all those villains and everything, it would pigeonhole the MCU, I think.
A little bit, but you know what I think they're doing right now? Because look at the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home. You have Nick Fury out in space. So you already know if he's out in space, if Nick Fury trusts to be out in space rather than be in Earth, they're taking this not global, I'm sorry. They're taking this into outer space.
We're going back down to Earth.
We're going back to the U.S.
He's in space. We're coming back down.
So I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna have Captain Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy. You're gonna have like even these Eternals now. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna spread out. These people are gonna be from outer space, and you're gonna see things you've never seen before. But you're gonna have a couple of guys that are still back home on Earth, still handling business because there's still gonna be issues and problems. I think you're gonna have
But
two
he doesn't
things.
need to be. So
going-
if that's the
yeah.
case, he doesn't need to even be part of the MCU for that.
I was kind of hoping that after Spider-Man 3, just to kind of keep him doing Spider-Man, make him some kind of Marvel Plus show. I mean, Disney Plus show. So that way you still get that inkling of, here's a Spider-Man based series where you can get the villains and the superhero team-ups, because we are going to get a Fantastic Four, you know, and him and Johnny
Eventually,
Storm are best buddies, you know, so like having them kind of work together. So instead of making a movie dedicated to Spider-Man and his super friends, like, you know, the cartoon,
Right.
was just maybe make a Disney Plus show where he does get to do that,
Right.
or they all get to do that, where they all get to kind of cross in and out, so they don't have to make this movie every 3 years.
But do you think that they need to do an Avengers movie anymore, or just a lot of cameos? Keep everybody separated and just do cameos. Do we need another
I felt the
Endgame?
same way that I don't know if we need an Avengers right now.
I don't know if they can, man. When you take out Iron Man, Captain America, Black
But
Widow,
even they weren't the original Avengers.
For us, for the movie,
They're the ultimate Avengers.
no,
So
but
they
for
weren't
the, but for the
original
movie,
group.
but for the movies, for the MCU, for
Yeah.
this, those are the Avengers. That's what
Yeah.
we're used to on screen as the Avengers.
yeah,
and we
man.
have a lot of other teams.
New Edition wasn't Bobby Brown, man. Okay,
No, but plus,
It kind of was though.
I mean, he's awesome. He made it. He made it
He
better.
did.
And Endgame,
We can have our Belle Biv DeVoe. It's fine.
Still hurts, okay? They should have never broken up.
Bobby got Whitney. Whitney got Bobby.
Come on, man. We need some sensitivity, all right?
oh man,
I'm very sensitive to
Ralph
that.
Tresvant, man.
Yeah.
That's the man right there.
Yeah.
You gotta sleep on him, man. Anyway, Al.
now, I was just gonna say that with Endgame,
Too soon.
that was such a build up that I can't see them doing another ensemble on that level.
Not for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have to do it.
They would need to
I would think
really
Secret Wars would be
lead
the
up
next
to it.
time they all.
And we
should
talked
come
about that
together.
last week, where this was over a decade of build-up.
Yeah.
So it's like we invested in this. We invested life.
No, but even with the first Avengers movie, like who would be what would be the next group?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Brandon.
Listen,
I mean, you're
you know what?
more
I've
up on the
seen
comics.
in the comic books. It's Black Panther, Captain Marvel,
They have to get
a
us to
couple more other players. But
they have to get us to
that's it,
invest
yeah.
in the characters like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, the core of the Avengers was Iron Man and Captain America, and we were invested in those two characters.
Yeah.
Right now, we're
Yeah.
invested in Black Panther.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're really invested. I think they wanted us to be invested in Captain Marvel
But yeah.
like that, but I don't think we have invested
yeah.
in Captain
Yeah,
Marvel.
it was
Yeah,
a good movie,
yeah.
but I don't think we all cared. And then the way she got played in Avengers Endgame, where she was just like a small minor character that was in the beginning and then was in the end.
Yeah.
I
They
agree.
didn't know
She
how
should
to
have.
work
They should have had her have a bigger role.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that
they did that
that
before.
technically was her first.
That was
movie.
her first time. Yeah,
That was
being
her
Captain
first
Marvel.
movie.
So
Cap-
they didn't know how her movie was gonna go yet.
But it
Also,
did really
she's
well.
also too powerful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she freaking destroyed all the ships.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like
but,
guys, she could just be like, guys, I got this.
yeah,
But
yeah,
didn't she
exactly.
get a 5-movie contract?
They all do when they sign up. They get like
Well,
a
because
5
they
or
were
6.
they were saying that they're already getting tired of her. So what do you do now?
There was a
with her?
rumor. I saw something going on, but I wasn't sure what it was.
I don't know if it was
something
more
about-
speculation than anything.
Gotcha. Something about.
I'm not
yeah.
tired of her. I just need more to be invested in her at this
Yeah.
point. You know what I mean? Like,
We gotta see where it goes because I'm wondering with her next movie if they're gonna keep staying in the past or if they're gonna bring it up to date or maybe a blend of the two. Maybe.
Well, one of her characters, Monica Rambeau, I think it is. They're bringing her into one of the Disney Plus shows. I think WandaVision, I believe.
One of them, yeah.
So you have a character who becomes Captain Marvel. In an instance, you have them working on a Captain Marvel show, Miss Marvel show, and then you have Captain Marvel. So you have almost 3 Captain Marvel characters almost in the next year. So I want to see how they make her more important.
Right.
You know, and if you're trying to set her up to be our Captain America, Iron Man,
like the guy.
if you're making her to be the guy,
Yeah.
you know, how is she gonna stand out when there's gonna be 3
Yeah,
Captain
because
Marvels?
I
in a
honestly
sense?
think they're trying to make her and,
Yeah.
and Black Panther be the leaders now.
Which I agree. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a smart move, but they have to build her up
Absolutely. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I think they try to make us care about her too soon or too fast.
Gotcha.
You
Like,
see,
here's a
that's
movie
the thing.
about
with
her at
Black
a time.
Panther. Black Panther basically got the same treatment. He got one movie, origin story, and then he shows up in
Well, we got the sneak in Civil War.
we did get. You're right.
He made an impression in
He
Civil
did
War.
make an impression in Civil War.
I,
You're
I
right.
was definitely
missed- I
amped up to
forgot
go
that
see
part.
Black Panther after that
Yeah.
movie. I was like, oh, who is this?
Well, I mean, look,
gutsy character?
he's got his one movie, and like just he shows up a couple
Yeah.
times elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you figure like, but just the impact that he had versus Captain Marvel, you see, like
Exactly.
there's such a huge difference
yes.
in impact.
Absolutely.
But do you take him out of Wakanda then?
He would have to come out of Wakanda, which I think
I think that's
would
going to
be
be the point of the
interesting.
next movie.
Yeah, with how do they do his story then? You know,
It's gonna be interesting how they do all this stuff, man.
because I mean he seems to have things settled in Wakanda. You know, like as far as rivals and things like that. Like
Well, we'll
nobody.
see because
we'll
they're
see.
supposed to be bringing Killmonger back. So
Well, it's supposedly Namor too.
oh yeah.
Supposedly,
Oh yeah, that's right. The
2K,
earthquake under the
all this-
ocean.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if like any more news comes up. You know, you guys will talk about it on the podcast for sure. So, you know, we'll always be mentioning MCU. It's one of our biggest.
Draws, yeah.
Yeah, man. Every time we do MCU shows, like 30, 40 views. We do something else, 16, 19.
Then you start watching, start listening.
Oh man! And by the way, Spider-Man's supposed to be coming out July 2021. Spider-Man 3.
21.
Yeah, 2021. So that's quick. That's coming up.
And they're trying to make 4 movies.
No, that's like a year and a half away.
Yeah, the movie just came out 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Oh, you fiending.
He's
for
like,
some
they didn't start
Spider-Man.
filming yet? I don't understand.
I told you.
I want to be in the theaters next week.
Freaking crackhead over here.
You got that
I
itch.
need it.
Oh, man. And man, and our next
That was for
topic,
you, Mo.
There you go. There you go. Our next topic, man, we're talking about today, man, is something that I saw all this week and last week, actually. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it last week, so I didn't bring it up until this episode where all four of us are here. Is that there's a lot of petitions and stuff going on about Joker right now. Also, me and Brandon got a chance to see Rambo. And real quick, Brandon, what was your thought on Rambo?
Rambo, I mean, it's a Rambo movie, so I mean, you know what you're walking into. You knew you went to go see. Story was uber weak, but the action was Rambo. So like,
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna get an action movie.
It was a Home Alone,
It was literally Home Alone to the extreme.
adult-rated Home Alone.
Home Alone XXX. Like, so like, it was a Rambo movie. You know, the story. I haven't seen a Rambo movie that had an incredible story ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, action wise was great. You know, the first Rambo was most incredible thing ever. But you were walking into an action movie and we got a lot of action.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's a little gruesome, man.
old man Sylvester Stallone kind of killed it. You know, so he was
Yeah.
awesome. But story was uber weak.
Yeah.
I'd wait to watch it at home.
Actually, that's gonna be my thing too. I was gonna say you should wait to see it because I think it's as good as I thought it was. When I keep thinking about some of the acting, like there's a daughter or not a daughter,
It
a
was like
cousin or
it was
niece.
like a novella at first.
Yeah,
The first hour was a novella.
the niece that's in the movie was just like she poorly acted some of the scenes there.
I think the story was just very weak. A lot of
Yeah.
it didn't really make a lot of sense when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And the characters they introduced that really just didn't attribute anything to the movie.
And the bad guys.
And the bad.
Jesus
the bad
Christ, how
guys.
stereotypical.
Listen,
Because it was set in Mexico,
it was
correct?
set in Mexico.
They went to
and
Mexico.
the bad guys couldn't
Yeah.
be
And
any more Mexican. Like it was just like straight up Narcos. Like,
to kill you, puto.
no one talks like that. In
No one
Mexico.
talks like that. Anyway, but I mean, listen. Like I said, I would wait to see it on Blu-ray or like Netflix or something like that because honestly, it was okay. It was
It's gonna
nothing
come out
special.
on Hulu.
But...
That's what's gonna come out on Hulu.
but anyway, back to the topic there, man. Because of all this stuff going on, which kind of freaks me out because how many people got to see Joker where there's so many petitions about this movie? I thought the movie comes out this week and that everyone...
Whatever advanced screenings.
Okay, so I guess it's going to be really crazy then. But there's a lot of stuff going on about people saying that it's the violence in this movie is unnecessary, that it's going to cause people to act out. And I don't really buy it, honestly. You got a lot of politicians also stating things like, because of movies is why we have gun violence, and because of video games we have gun violence. But then we also have the fact that, I think it's not necessarily the movies. I mean, think about it. I mean, all the other countries have movies, video games. They don't have the sort of violence that we have over here. So it's just, I don't think it's the movies, people. But at the same time, are these things getting too violent? Because like even watching Rambo, there was a couple of scenes, especially the ending, where I was looking at Brandon going, "Oh,
you were cringing a lot at the end."
Holy Jesus!" But at the same time, I mean, there's been violent movies for a long time, so it's like, is it really that part of society now that these movies need to calm it down? Because in my opinion, man, like I get the whole violence, like a lot of the stuff that's coming out about Joker is because of the families that dealt with the Aurora shooting. That's when that guy dressed up as the Joker went into the movie theaters, and forget it. That's just crazy. But a lot of people are stating because of that, that's why they're fearful about this movie coming out. And I also remember one of the first like student shootings nonsense was the people from Colorado in Columbine, and I want to say movies had nothing to do with it, but those kids dressed up as the Matrix characters. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, I don't think they can say that they dressed up as Matrix characters, but that's just goth wear for
Right, it
for
was
that
just
time.
black
That's what
coat,
goth
trench
was
coat
like.
stuff,
A black trench
yeah.
coat and sunglasses. I mean, that's just general goth. Like you could say if you're gonna go down that line of thinking, well, is goth culture responsible for shootings? No,
Right.
it's not. It's people being stupid. Right. You have some people that are just stupid and they don't have anything better to do and they have some real issues, and they do unfortunate things.
Right. So, like, do you think that the violence in these movies needs to just simmer down a little bit,
No,
or are
I
they
don't-
just
I don't-
a form of expression?
No, I don't think so. I think movies are art, and I'm all for people doing their art, expressing their art, and letting people that want to consume the art make decisions for themselves.
Right.
I don't think a person who's going to commit a violent act needs any movie or any video game or anything to spark them. That's not what's going to spark them.
Right.
Anyone who's going to go so far as to go into a movie theater and commit acts of violence against people, there's something else, other things that have happened to them along the way that they're so far gone that this was going to happen at some point
Regardless.
anyway, and that we're missing that. I think it's a distraction from the point of how to stop what's going on, to put blame. We're always looking to put blame on something, to say,
Right,
well,
point a
that's the
finger at
reason.
something.
But the reason for all these things is that we have some problems as a society that we're not addressing.
Dealing with, yeah.
You know, mental health issues, poverty, access to
Weapons.
no, just it's the access to weapons. Like, why do we have to have certain types of weapons and things like that, right? They're bigger issues that are at the cause, where these other things are a distraction. This is blaming it on a movie, blaming it on a video. That's the distraction.
Yeah.
Right? The gun is what killed people, right? The person behind the gun with the gun is what killed people, and having the type of weapon and things like that. So we can get a movie banned, we can get a video game banned in a matter of days, right? But we can't get this weapon banned, right?
No matter what.
No matter what.
Whether Democrats are in charge.
Democrats
or
are in charge, Republicans are in charge.
Yeah.
So the reality is, so fine. The person, if we shouldn't have this movie because that's what sparked off the person, right? To do this violence. Well, the violence wouldn't have been committed if we didn't have access to this weapon.
Right. You can go both ways with that.
Right?
I don't agree with them trying to pinpoint the trigger on movies or video games, because let's concede, the movie is what set him off. There was something in his, to Sanjay's point, mental health, that allowed a movie to set him or her off to the point where they wanted to act out.
The movie just
Violently.
gave them the costume to wear.
But and then everybody says, "Oh, guns don't kill people. People kill people." Yeah, but they pull the trigger. So if you take the trigger away from them to pull, they can want to pull a trigger all they want. They don't have the gun to do it.
Right.
People with guns kill people. That's that. Like,
and
you can't separate the two.
But to say that movies and video games are the problem, to me, it's kind of also like what Sanjay was saying, is missing the point, because everything could be a trigger. Somebody loses their job, they get fired, they come back, they shoot up the place. How many stories of that have we heard?
Right,
what are you going to now
environment.
say? Oh, well, you can never fire someone again now because they might come back.
Right. Exactly.
Look at it, the post office was under so much stress that now we have an expression that
Going
they've
postal.
gone postal.
Right.
Right.
So
And we make it like a joke.
So
Instead of addressing the
anything can be a
issue.
trigger. It's don't stop focusing on the trigger and focusing on addressing how do we prevent them from, once they want to do that act, being able to even do it.
Gotcha.
That's what you need to focus
Let's work
on.
on becoming a society that doesn't put people under the stress
Right.
that they break in this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. And Brandon, like, real quick, like, with as many movies as we've watched,
Yeah.
we would be the ape shit. We would be losing our damn minds. But
none of us became Batman.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of us went out there and put on a costume and started beating.
Whoa! I put on costumes to go to the movies.
and
time ago,
and
I
went
was
out
Neo.
there and went out there to no, but like none of us went out there to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be Batman.
Yeah.
And like try to stop crime.
We may have gotten our cars after Fast and the Furious and drove them quick, but
I may have pulled on the e-brake.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Sanjay's trying to drift.
In a front wheel drive car.
Get those Michelin tires, all right. But I mean, I completely agree with all these points. I caught myself the other day when we were watching the trailers for Rambo. You know, it's just this PC culture, the cancel culture, the offended culture. You know, it's called the entertainment industry. If you don't feel like you're going to be entertained by that movie or that video game, whatever it is, don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to stick a problem with everything you think is going to be a problem.
Right.
You know, the Joker was going to shed a bad light on mental illness. It's a movie. You know, it's not pointed at a mental illness movie. It's not set for those benefits. It's all about the Joker. It's about a cartoon character, a comic book character who may have mental illness, sure, but it's not about that point. It's not a political point either. It's just a movie about that villain, how he became that villain. That's it. Rambo. If you've never seen a Rambo before, you know, you're going to say, yeah, it was a really violent movie. Well, you should have saw the first one. You know, you should have seen what he did with that one machete. You know, it's like, you know, it's...
And he didn't have like real weapons. Like he was building stuff and like just it was pretty. That first Rambo was pretty gruesome.
It was very gruesome. You know, it's extremely gruesome. But like it's that point. Like if you don't feel like you'll be entertained by this movie, don't see it. You know, I caught myself, and I remember asking you the question. There was a trailer for the movie Mayday, which is based on the events of Mayday Island. You know, and I said to I looked at Javier and I said, I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't know if this is the right time for this. And I kind of stopped myself. I said, but why does that matter? I was like, it's just a movie. I was like, if someone wants to make the movie, they'll make the movie.
That's how you're thinking right now,
you know,
everything that's going on.
And I said to myself, and I caught myself. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is the right time for a movie about, you know, the Americans versus the Japanese, considering the culture and the political climate. And I'm like, but why does that matter? It's a movie.
It's also like a historical,
and that was my whole thing. So like, you know, that I understand that's the thinking for a lot of people right now.
Including you,
and, you know, and I had to catch myself, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but I was like, it's a movie, you know, and if I saw it and I thought the trailer was really cool, I said, you know what, I think I'd like to see that movie. If I didn't want to see that movie, I just won't see it. I mean, we've had several movies about the Holocaust. You know, it is not us promoting that behavior or that kind of culture. It's just it was a movie for the sake of making a movie.
Gotcha, man. And Al, real quick, man, just want to ask your take on this because you went with me to go see John Wick 3. Yeah. John Wick 3 was fucking brutal.
Oh, Craig, just the first 20 minutes of the movie made me feel like I just saw a whole movie. I could have gone home right there.
He killed a motherfucker with a pencil.
With a book at a library.
So now what?
We're banning books?
We're banning books because, hey, books are dangerous. What about horses? Look at how many people he took out with a horse.
Oh, that was so crazy. Oh, my God.
Right? And how many accidents were caused by those motorcycles that fell? Yeah. Ban the motorcycles.
So my question to you guys, or Al right now, is where was the backlash for John Wick 3? Is it just because it's the Joker?
See, I don't know if it's... that's what it would be kind of interesting, because while I was listening to Brandon talk, I was wondering if it was they want to argue the glorification of the violence. Like in Rambo 1, First Blood, in which everybody forgets that's the full name of it, is Rambo First Blood.
Right.
Was good because the primary focus of that movie was about PTSD.
Right.
Like, it was to the point where I think one day when I came early for setting up, Rambo First Blood was on, and Sanj and I saw it. I didn't remember the ending scene of that movie being so much just him venting out.
Yeah, that speech he gave
trauma.
at the end of the thing. Like I remember like Rambo being like an action hero, but when I think about it, it's kind of a perversion. All the Rambo movies that come after that, that turn him into an action hero, where he was not. It was not an action hero movie. No. It was a movie about Vietnam soldiers, their PTSD, what happened to them when they came home, the world that they came back to, and how they were treated, and how they couldn't find a place in society, and you know, it was rough to watch. Wow. So if anything, I took away from that, like, you know what? I did not have an appreciation for what these guys went through, and those specific guys that went through Vietnam and what they came back to and what it must have been like for them. I did not have an appreciation for that, or an awareness. I would say, I don't want to say appreciation.
It's awareness more than anything.
An awareness of it, and then watching that movie as an adult did that for me. Yeah. So, whereas some people would get stuck on the violence, I was going to make people commit acts of violence.
But that's where I was going.
But this made me. This made me aware, and this made me want to like do things to help.
Right.
Yeah. But where I was going was Rambo 2 and on, all they focused on was the violence.
Gotcha.
So like you lost the point. Like, okay, fine. In 1, he's going to help this. He's going there. Here, he's I guess fighting some niece or somebody from a drug cartel. But most of the movies, like John Wick, 1, there's a little bit of extremism. Like it's almost
it's over the top.
Yeah, it's over the top. So you don't there's not a sense of realism to it, even though they are I mean, the guy trained like to really get efficient in close quarter combat with a pistol, but the violence is part of the movie towards his end.
Right.
Like his thing was always, you killed my dog, you stole my car, you know, that was the only memory I had of my wife, and you took it from me. And the guy was an assassin, so he went back to what he knew to get the vengeance.
Right.
But it didn't do the violence for the sake of the violence. The violence was his means to an end.
Right.
But it wasn't violence for the sake of violence. And I guess that's where I can understand from the other side where their concerns are, is that there are a lot of movies where there's just violence for the sake of violence. And if you do have someone that's a little off, you know, they're not really there, they have mental issues that aren't being diagnosed and treated, can this be what sets them off? But at the same time, is it the producer's problem?
Right.
Like, to the point where back in the days where everybody was watching Hulk Hogan and everybody wrestle, and then they were going to the yard and really wrestling. Like, was that WWE's fault, or was it your fault for not watching your kid?
Gotcha.
You know, the first time you saw your kid jump off the bed and try to, you know,
Jimmy Snooker.
Yeah. Like, all right, I can't leave you alone no more.
Dude,
Like,
I
do
still
you
have a
stop
scar
the-
on my nose from the wrestling in the freaking garage.
Oh man.
No, listen.
You get slammed on the table? Slammed through the table?
Yeah.
The side that-
DDT'd in this concrete.
Yeah,
Damn it.
by someone at this table. We're not gonna say who, but whatever.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I just find it crazy because a part of me kind of sees what everyone was talking about, but then another part of me is just like, dude, there's been violent movies forever. This is not the first one. Won't be the last.
Nope, not even close.
I remember some of the more asinine stuff I heard was like there was backlash against Superman because kids were gonna try to fly. I'm like,
yeah.
listen, if your kid don't know that they can't fly, that was your fault.
It's hilarious, man. All right, man. So, like, listen, man, to wrap up the last little topic there, since it's the 1st of October on Tuesday there, there's actually a lot of movies coming out for October.
Finally.
So let's see what you guys are interested in. Of course, as always, we're part of like Showcase Subscribe, or we're part of these little movie plans where they let you see a certain amount of movies for free each month. Mine happens to be 3 per month, right?
Yes.
So if I have to choose 3, or you guys have to choose 3, which 3 are you guys gonna choose? I'll give you the options right now. I already know number 1. So we got Joker, Gemini Man, The Addams Family, Jay and Silent Bob. We got Jojo Rabbit, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Zombieland, Black and Blue, and Countdown. Brandon, what 3 movies are you seeing this month?
Well, I'm definitely not seeing Joker after this talk. No. Joker number 1. I'll definitely see Jay and Silent Bob.
Really?
'Cause
Okay.
I really like those. And the third one, what was the second movie you said? I'm sorry.
Gemini
Gemini
Man.
Black Looper. I don't know if I'm going to see Black Looper. I'm not sure.
Dude, I heard it's great.
Okay, I'll put
Nothing
Black
but,
Looper.
nothing but great things.
But
I've heard
I
about
have
that
to
movie.
rename it Black Looper. It won't be Gemini.
I don't. I wouldn't suggest you do that. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and just
Shows up to the theater. Who's
Say-
up for Black Looper tonight?
no. Let's just not keep saying that. How about that? You know,
Sanj, what's your 3 movies for October?
I'm gonna have to go with Brandon
Black Looper.
as to the movies, but I'm not gonna follow suit on his renaming of the movie.
So you seeing Gemini Man?
I'm a Will Smith fan,
Yeah, man.
man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just a big fan. Like, he's been doing really well.
Gotcha.
And he just keeps getting better and better
Yeah.
and better. So it's definitely Joker, Gemini Man, and you got to go see Jay and Silent Bob. Like,
Really?
gotta go
Okay.
see Jay and Silent Bob.
All right, Al, man. How about you, man? What's your 3 for this month?
Honestly, I only really have one that's drawing me to want to go to the theater, because I'm actually scrolling through the list of movies that are coming out.
Maleficent.
I may do that only for
I was
my
gonna say,
daughter.
like, as a fourth, I probably will take my daughter to see Maleficent. And
Gotcha.
is Angelina Jolie
Yeah,
coming?
yeah,
out?
reprising the role again.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. But it's Gemini Man. Only because from the previews, the way they do the younger version of him, like I was nervous that it was going to be like cartoony, kind of like with
Yeah.
the way they did the kids. But it looks good.
I heard
And,
it's fantastic. Looks great.
And
Everything.
I want to see what's the reason did they make a clone of him and so forth? So like, I just want.
I want to see somebody get slapped with a motorcycle.
Right? That
looks insane in the
trailer.
trailer. So Joker, Gemini Man.
And I don't see a third one.
You're not feeling it right now.
Can we just pencil you in for Maleficent?
So we don't have
then?
any. We don't have any horror movies coming out this
maybe
month?
that one.
Dude, no, nothing crazy
Really?
horror wise. No,
Nothing James Wan. Nothing.
Nothing, dude. Nothing at all.
Wow.
No, you're gonna have to
Well,
wait.
you know what? The horror movie for October is something called Countdown. It's what it, and this is sounds so silly when I explain this. So what it is it's an app on the phone that tells you when you're gonna die.
So this is how we've come this far in
Yeah,
horror movies.
that's what the movie's about. People are downloading an app and it tells them like they think it's a joke, but when their time runs out, they die.
That's like, harkens to like The Ring and stuff
That's
like
literally
that.
The Ring.
Yeah. So that's what that is. So for me, Joker, Gemini Man, and I saw this preview for Black and Blue, and I think I want to see
What's
that
Black
movie.
and Blue about?
So Black and Blue is a police officer on her first day, I think it is, and she's out on, I guess, the training route with another officer,
Training Day?
almost. But when the officer tells her to stay inside the car, and he goes into a warehouse, she goes in, and they're shooting witnesses. And it's the DEA, it's her friend, the cop that went inside. They see her, and then she gets shot. Now she's black, and she's trying to run, and in the town that she's in, I guess it's like New Orleans or whatever. No one's trying to help her because she's a police, and they try to tell her, when you're a police officer, you're not black anymore, you're blue.
Ooh.
So it seemed deep, interesting. It's with Tyrese also is in there.
Yeah.
They
And,
fucked it up.
I
can't. I haven't seen him do
They're
anything
like,
serious.
we
where
wanted
he's-
Common, but
No, like I honestly, I haven't seen him do things serious movies where
Yeah.
he's good.
well, hopefully in the previews he does come off like he's playing a good character there.
Okay, like
Yeah,
because
like he looks like he's
he
trying.
just over like if it's not comedy, he just seems like extra.
if it's not
Yeah.
Baby Boy,
like his acting is just not.
I hear you.
You
So
know,
that
like-
that for me would be my third would be Black
But
and Blue.
that is a great concept.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know,
I
like
definitely
it
want to
is
see
it is very much a social issue that I would like to see explored.
Absolutely, man. And listen, man, that's gonna be it for us tonight, man. We thank everybody for listening as always, and we're gonna give a shout out real quick to Nebraska. Somebody in Nebraska keeps listening to us, or a subscriber. So whoever it is, man, we appreciate you. Just email us. Let us know if you like a topic or want us to talk about
Hey,
something.
Nebraska, if you've been listening, you could have had a shirt. All you had to do was email in. Because we got 2 more emails tonight, so the shirt giveaway
It's over.
is over. But you know what? Here's what. I'll add a shirt.
All right.
Just for you, Nebraska. Only
Yeah,
you.
man.
So
We had some views also in the last couple of episodes too from where was it? Was it Czech? It was somewhere out of the country, which was awesome.
Czech?
Czech? CZEC?
Czech.
Czech.
The Czech
Yeah.
Republic.
Yeah.
Czechoslovakia.
Someone out there, man.
Never
I was
heard
just
that
like,
before.
wow. I was like, wow, we're reaching. Anyway, listen, if you guys like what you hear, send us a like, write us a review, or you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're also at therealfanreview@gmail.com or therealfanreview.com. That's our website there. You can see all our podcasts there. And again, you could always leave us a note, a message, anything just to say hello. Or again, if you want us to talk about a subject or anything, just
Hit me up, Nebraska, for that shirt. I got you.
Yeah, man. So signing off tonight, we got B-Dog, Sanj, Alan, myself. We thank you for always listening. We'll catch you next week.